This is the David Lloyd Tennis School at intosport.com. And this guide will give you some ideas for practice drills that will help you develop your tactical ability. Each of the following drills is intended to help you develop the basic tactics of being consistent, being accurate, keeping a good position, playing your own strengths, and finally exploiting your opponent's weaknesses. Let's start with consistency. And these practice drills will concentrate on being able to hit a high number of balls over the net and into the court. For serving, practice hitting serves to both courts so that you can get more balls to land in the service box. Make sure you practice your first serve, followed by your second serve, just as you would in a match. For your ground strokes, practice forehand and backhand ground strokes in a rally with your partner, trying to reach the highest number that you can consecutively and focus on hitting the ball close to the baseline. For volley practice, stand at the net with your partner on the baseline and practice volleys to ground strokes, concentrating on making the rally last as long as possible, whilst at the same time keeping the shot quality high. Now let's look at developing accuracy. For these drills, we'll place markers in different positions on the court and try to either hit them or get the ball as close as possible. For ground strokes, place the markers in a line across the court and about a metre inside the baseline. Remember to try and hit them from both cross-court and down the line. When you begin, have quite large markers and make them smaller as you improve. You could also hit from one corner to another, because this sort of accuracy in a match will force the opponent to run and get out of position. For your serves, place 3 markers near the service court line in each box, 1 near the centre line, 1 in the centre of the box, and 1 near the singles sideline. When you practice your slice serve, place a marker about 1 metre inside the singles sideline or the centre line. For the volley, you can place markers just as you did for the ground strokes, but also place some markers near the junction of the sidelines and service court lines so that you practice hitting angled volleys. Now let's look at maintaining a good position on the court. A good position is not just about where you stand, but also about how you stand. It means standing in the ready position with your feet about shoulders width apart, your knees bent, your eyes watching the ball, and your racket in front of you. You can find out more about the ready position in the Guide to Footwork and Movement in the Skills section. For the serve, make sure you're close to the centre mark so you have both sides of the single court to either side of you. If you're hitting ground strokes near the baseline, always aim to get back to a position close to the centre of the baseline and a little way behind it. As you improve, you'll be able to get to an even better position, which is in the centre of the angle of possible returns that your opponent can hit. To practice getting to a good position, you could put 2 markers, each about a metre from the centre mark on the baseline. Play a rally and make sure you get back to a position midway between the markers each time. For the volley, you can practice a similar drill of returning to a good position between 2 markers placed on the net after every volley. However, as you improve, you'll realise that the most difficult volley to hit is when your opponent is hitting a passing shot down the line. So you should position yourself a little closer to the nearest sideline when you've hit a volley to a corner. The 4th set of drills is designed to practice playing to your strengths. From a technical point of view, this is likely to be a forehand or backhand, so practice running around to get your favourite ground stroke more often. This means hitting forehands on the backhand side and vice versa, and you'll need to concentrate on good footwork to do this. Your serve may be a real strength, so practice your best serves regularly so that you can use them with confidence, particularly on big points. For volleys, practice hitting every short ball as an approach shot so that you can move up to the net and volley more often. Another strength you may have is the ability just to keep playing because you're patient and fit. So then you could practice long rallies and staying in the point rather than going for winners. Finally, let's look at tactical practices for exploiting your opponent's weaknesses, and this could be the serve or a ground stroke. To practice this tactic, you should play with different players and train yourself to work out which shots they find difficult. Then you need to practice getting the ball in the position where you can hit their weakness. For example, if the weakness is a serve, you need to practice moving forwards and being a threat to the server. And if it's a backhand, you should practice creating rally situations that allow you to hit wide cross-court ground strokes that make your opponent move and stretch on the backhand side. So that's singles tactics practice drills. Let's recap. Practice consistency for ground strokes by playing long rallies. For serves, practice serving as many good serves in a row as you can. For accuracy, use markers to help focus on targeting the direction of your shots and reduce the size of the markers as you improve. To practice standing in a good position, remember that it's about how and where you stand, and practice standing in the center of the angle of the possible returns that your opponent can hit. To practice playing to your strengths, focus on your best shots and playing them as often as possible. And finally, to practice playing against your opponent's weaknesses, play rallies to put yourself in position to play a variety of shots that would make your opponent hit a specific stroke. So now that you have singles tactics covered, why not check out the guide to doubles tactics in the David Lloyd Tennis School at Intersport.com. Intersport.com, the home of world-class sports coaching online.